Hello, everyone, and welcome to Empowered Conversations, where I have amazing conversations with extraordinary people out doing beautiful things in the world in service to others and just all around living their best lives. And that is none other than my guest today, joining us all the way from Rome, Italy, guys. This is like really exciting. She is, Tracy is a transformational and neuro mindfulness coach and a expert in mindful manifesting. Tracy, the founder of Grounded Living, helps high achievers break free of stress, bad habits, and limiting beliefs to stay grounded, master their focus, and raise their vibration as deliberate and intentional creators of their reality. She is passionate about creating a world where CEOs and entrepreneurs have the energy, self mastery, and stress resilience to thrive in their business and their personal life, and show up every single day as the leader that they want to be. Originally from England, she has been living in Italy for 26 years with her two daughters. Everybody, help me in welcoming Tracy O'Leary. Hey girl, how are you?
Hello.
Oh my God, y'all, technical difficulties. I was trying to, get on like I normally do, several minutes before we go live, and none of my devices were connected. I had to restart my computer. There's 5,000 programs that I thought I deleted running in the background. So it took like, 17,000 years for it to like restart. But we are here. We are here. I don't know if we're live on Facebook. I know that it says we're live, but because it was 10 minutes after, it like deleted the live broadcast. Either way, we're live, and I'm hoping everybody will at least watch this on the replay if you're not able to join us live. So Tracy, oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to have you, join. It's what? Is it 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. over in Rome?
10 past 6 at the moment.
10
So
past 6.
thank
Okay.
you for inviting me. It's an
Oh,
absolute
you're so
pleasure and honor to be here and talking to you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. We connected like I know we connected on Facebook because it's like we're part of these groups, and I think we just saw one another and we're like, "Oh, you're empowering. Oh, you're empowering." And I think that's how we came together. And I remember reaching out to you a while back and be like, "Girl, you got to be on my Empowered Conversations podcast. You're a leader. You're out here doing those beautiful things in the world and like helping others like, empower their minds, which empowers their life, and be intentional, with their
Exactly.
life."
Totally. Intentionality on a whole new level to what we're used to, right? Being
Absolutely.
intentional, not just with our actions and our behaviors and our
Mhm.
decisions, but also with our thoughts and with our
Yes,
feelings, with how we want to show up in the world, right? And
absolutely.
yeah, it's a whole new level of mindfulness and intentionality. So it's a real pleasure to be here. I'm very excited.
Yes, I am so excited to have you. So, one of the very first questions that I love to ask my guests, because I like to get to the core, like the depth of them, and the big why. Or there could be several reasons that created that why of how you decided, you know what, I want to, again, empower others. I want to enable others to whatever you've cultivated for yourself through yourself, to have that, because it is such a gift of what we give ourselves from living with intention and on purpose. So what is your why? What all epiphanies or experiences, situations happen in your life that you're like, boom, this is what I'm doing?
Yeah, well, I would say there's like two whys for me. One is very personal, connected to what I went through in my 20s. And the other one, which I'll tell you in a sec, like the other one is very much just I just love helping people and in being in
Mhm.
conversation with people, right? I mean, if I didn't need to work, or didn't want to work or retired, I would still carry on doing what I'm doing, right? I just love it.
Mhm.
And I'm always like offering friends, offering people coaching sessions because and when I retrained 5 years ago as a professional coach, I found my dharma. I found my path on life. I actually have a tattoo on my finger of an arrow. Like I found my direction. Like I knew where I was
Ah, I
going.
love it.
It was 5 years ago. So because I've always been working with people. I've spent my whole life as a trainer. My background's in adult education. So I was working in these companies and working a lot one-on-one. And when you're working one-on-one, you get into conversations, people bring their challenges to the table. They want
Mhm.
help, right? And I really wanted to help them. I wanted nothing more, but I didn't have the know-how, the techniques, the tools, even the conversational abilities really of like as a coach. So that was why I wanted to retrain. But in why I chose this particular niche as a coach is very connected to what I went through in my 20s and early
Mhm.
30s when like I mean I totally on a whim decided to come to Italy. It was just like Italy chose me. It was not any part of my game plan. It wasn't even on my radar at all. I spoke fluent Italian. I was looking for a job in Italy, in Germany. And then one day I literally got offered a job in Sicily, right at the foot of Italy. And I didn't speak a word of Italian, didn't know anybody in Italy. And so, me being 21, just got out of university, I was like, yes, why not? Sounds like fun. Sounds like an adventure, right? And I've always like loved the idea of adventures. So I went, but it was a lot harder than I thought it would be.
Mhm.
And I ended up setting up my own business and working crazy hours and getting very, very stressed, overworked, totally inability to say no to work. And I was stuck in those days in real scarcity thinking. So I was working,
Mhm.
still in the exchanging time for money. So working loads of hours, every hour I could fit into the day to make as much money as possible. And it was like draining all my energy. I ended up developing an eating disorder. I ended up like getting really sick, and not telling anybody about it because I was too ashamed. So I
Right.
went through my 20s and early 30s struggling on my own, completely on my own. Not even, I don't think even my ex-boyfriend knew. So I I was like underweight. I wasn't eating
Mhm.
enough, but I was also like compulsively binging on all the delicious desserts in Italy. and,
Yeah.
I
So
wasn't
you were anorexic bulimic? You were
not
anorexic bulimic?
no, I never made myself sick, but I worked
Okay.
out at the gym every day like a maniac. I was like the free time I had was always at the gym or completely starving myself. So it was
Mhm.
one extreme or the other, which is not healthy. And I took so long to get out of that trap, to get out of that cycle, and it just took such a toll on my emotional health and my self-esteem, I think, on the relationship, on everything, as it not
Mhm.
but it was my coping mechanism. It
Right.
was the only way I could get through my day. It was the only way I could have the energy to go and do what I needed to do every day.
Right.
We develop some very unhealthy coping mechanisms sometimes
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
survive, and it was a survival need. But then when it was no longer a survival need, you can't get rid of the habit.
Right.
I lost my self-esteem in all of that. I struggled. Then I got a big wake-up call, obviously, when I was 35 and got the diagnosis of gestational diabetes.
Yeah.
Um, you sooner or later you get a wake up call. I got mine
Right.
sooner, but
Mhm.
it was. it was what I went through on an emotional level that I would not want anybody to have to go through.
Right.
And that was what spurred me. And I knew it was stress was the starting point, and burnout, and
Mm-hmm.
not having the self-confidence and self-esteem to ask for help, being ashamed,
Right.
hiding, that all of that I was like, I don't want anyone to go through all of that. And that was
Right.
what spurred all my journey. I originally trained as an executive leadership coach, was like nothing to do with what I'm doing now. But then I soon realized that I was in the wrong niche and that was not my
Mm-hmm.
calling. So yeah, I just sort of gradually started owning my space and being authentic and real about who I am. I actually only last year found the courage to start speaking about this. Like literally nobody, I did a post on Facebook and I spoke about it in my group, and even childhood friends that had known me since I was 8, they're like, I never knew this about you. How come I never knew? It's like,
Yeah.
because I was too ashamed to tell anyone, because there's nothing. I love Brené Brown, right? And her work on
Yeah.
vulnerability. There's nothing worse than shame to keep us in hiding and not and yeah. So that's basically my why.
You know, Tracy, I love that you say that about shame because, like, and that is where all of us, I think that's a normal, I don't think it is, it's a normal human being conditional response to things that we wish, that we regret that we had done, or wish that we had made a different decision or different choice. But there is gift in that experience of the choices that you made. For instance, I shared, I don't know if you saw last week's podcast with a friend of mine who, I didn't even know this until the week before, that she came on the podcast. But, prostitution, sex trafficking, drug addiction, and, you know, not, and been wanting to talk about it. And she came out publicly to the world and was like, I have no more shame because my experience is going to be gift to someone else going through that same situation, because we are all humans. We have a collective experience, and collective experiences include all the ugly and the bad and all the good and the beautiful. And the fact that you were able to be courageous and brave enough to come forward and go, you know what? Damn, I'm not ashamed anymore. This is part of my life. It's something that I need to share. What a freedom. And then I bet people celebrated you. Like, yes, like, wow, thank you. Because when people think that you're not real or you're perfect or everything, oh, well, that they don't have a respect. But boy, when they know your real story or your authenticity, and as ugly as it may be, they're like, damn, that's awesome. Like, she's a human being. And my girlfriend is like, she was even scared after sharing on the podcast last week. And she's like, it's amazing, because I was afraid that, oh my God, who's going to be hating me now, or judging me now, or coming to me and being ugly with vitriol? It's quite the opposite. People have been reaching out to her and be like, I celebrate you. And it sounds like that's exactly what people were doing for you. Like, I celebrate you. Thank you. Wow. I never knew, because really, Tracy? Oh my God, Tracy? I bet they were like, Tracy was dealing with that shit. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's
People get an impression of you as being perfect or having the perfect life, but then everyone's got a past, right? Everyone's been,
yes.
and yeah, we've all got our past and we've all got things that we wish were different. But there is incredible power in
Yes.
owning that, and being
Cold
honest
chills.
about it, and being honest about it. Like, my hero growing up was, I'm English, right? Princess Diana. I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
I still, yeah, I really was very fond of her. And
Beautiful
she,
human being. I
yeah,
mean, it's like beautiful human
wasn't
being.
she? But she was the people's princess for a reason, because she was
Yes.
the only one that was real and honest
Yes.
about things. And she also dealt, been suffering with an eating disorder. She was,
Mm-hmm.
and she had the courage on a whole new level of courage to go public about that. Like, when in
Yeah.
the history of the royal family has ever a member of the family been that sort of authentic and real, right? And honest about
Yeah.
their struggles. And so, people want to give this impression of being perfect, but we are, you're so right, we are just
Mhm.
all one human family. And the more
Yeah.
we can be real and authentic and honest with each other about our own struggles and what we've been through, or what we're struggling with right now, the more we
Mhm.
can connect and help each other, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what we're
Yes.
here for. That's what we're here for. It's all about connection and helping each other. And, and the more we can realize that this persistent illusion of separateness that our
Right.
creates.
Thank you. Perceived illusion of separateness.
Yeah, because it's so powerful, right? We can't
Yeah.
we can't like disconnect from
I
our
love
five
that.
physical senses, right? Because they are dictating our 3D reality and the tangible world. And it's so overpoweringly persistent that some people go through their entire life quite happily, not even ever aware of any other layer of reality. And that I was one of those people, and
Mhm.
until I sort of woke up a little bit. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, because it is
Right.
so bloody powerful, that illusion, right, of separateness. But there's a great
Yeah.
TED talk. I don't know if you've seen it. Would highly recommend everyone to go watch this TED talk by Jill Bolt. My stroke of insight.
Right.
A stroke
Jill, Jillbolt.
Exactly. Jill Bolt, My Stroke of Insight. She's a neuroscientist that is very watched, one of the most popular TED Talks, tells the story of when she had a stroke, and in her brain. And obviously she's looking at it from a scientist's perspective. So she tells exactly what hemisphere that gives
You're
you
freezing. You're freezing, Tracy.
that sense that, oh God, um,
Yeah.
my connection is not saying anything wrong. Oh no.
Okay. Are you
Um,
hardwired in to your modem?
no. What do you mean hardwired in? Let me just close down some tabs. Maybe that's too
I
many
can hear you
tabs
now.
open.
I just wanted to make sure. Jill Bolt, My Stroke of Insight TED Talk.
Yes, My Stroke of
Okay.
Insight. Exactly.
Love it. I'm sharing these as comments. They're going to YouTube. That's where we're live. We're live on YouTube because it 10 minute timed out for Facebook. So, but I'll still be sharing all this on Facebook.
Okay, cool.
So, but I love what you were saying. You were talking about her TED Talk and then you started freezing. So if you just kind of want to
Sorry.
go back and review.
Yeah. So basically, it's very powerful, this story that she tells, where she had the stroke in her left hemisphere, and she gets in the shower, and she's basically lost her sense of separateness, her sense of the illusion of separateness. She's lost it because she's just had a stroke in her left hemisphere, which is what generates that illusion of separateness. And she tells of like her hand, you couldn't tell where her hand stopped and the shower started. Like there was no separateness. It was like one blended into the other. And she was mesmerized by this sensation of connection to everything around her. And she lost that sense of separateness for a moment, right? And you wonder, if the left hemisphere just goes offline for a little bit, how wonderfully connected we could realize we are,
Mhm.
because it's the right hemisphere that is connected to each other, to the universe,
Mhm.
and to your body as well. It's
Yes.
hemisphere is more connected to the body. So uh, it's something to think about, that, it's there's a whole nother world out there other than what our senses are telling us, right?
Oh my God. Oh, girl, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. And, talking about that illusion of separateness, is everything occurred to me. And I share this on every podcast probably, but, when I was in organic chemistry class and gazing up at the periodic table up on the wall, and I was just kind of daydreaming, um, and it just hit me. There was this epiphany that I had, that I realized that everything which exists, everything that exists, which exists, everything, whether it's the computer, you, me, our eyeballs, the trees, the water, every single human being in the universe, everything is nothing but different conglomerations of atoms from the periodic table. Hence, everything is of itself. Everything is one. There
Yeah.
is no separateness, even though it's different, again, conglomerations of that which we call matter, and creates, me, me versus this laptop. It's still, I'm a part of this laptop.
Yeah.
We're a,
You're entangled with the laptop. Quantum speak. Like, exactly.
yes. Have you ever seen the document? Well,
Everything
it's,
is energy.
yes,
Everything is
everything. Yes.
right.
Yes.
It's just so like powering, that we can't detach from what our eyes are telling us, but the
Exactly.
more, but we can. It's not true that we can't, because the moment we like go within, we go into a meditative state, we
Mm-hmm.
close our eyes, we go into a quiet room, so we're shutting down some of our senses, the eyes being the
Mm-hmm.
most powerful, sight being the most powerful, and we start to go within and focus on our breathing and focus on those internal sensations and just focus on feeling the energy in different parts of our body and feeling our emotions. And we can cultivate more of that sense of connection. I mean, for
Mm-hmm.
me, being in nature, it allows me that the woods are my church, right? It's
Yes.
being in nature is infinite intelligence, is source energy for me, and it allows me to both feel connected to the universe and also to be allow myself to be in a state of awe. I'm a big
Yes.
believer in cultivating awe, right? There's a famous lovely quote, one of the quotes that I love from Rumi. I'm always quoting Rumi,
Yeah.
the 13th century Persian poet. Swap your cleverness for bewilderment.
Swap your cleverness
For
for
bewilderment,
bewilderment. Love this.
aka awe, right? Start to look at the world like a 4-year-old and start to be overwhelmed. Start to like see things not as predictable, boring, and the usual, the same
Right.
old, but start to see all of the magical things that are there, right? The world is full of
Yes.
magical things just waiting patiently for your senses to grow sharper, and develop cultivating that sense of awe and bewilderment is, I think, maybe the first step for then moving into more of an abundance consciousness, right? And leaves, going into nature and seeing the abundance of nature is, I mean, just, you can't be, before you start focusing on any kind of money blocks and money issues,
Thank you.
which I work with my clients on. I have a program for a money and abundance mindset, right?
Hmm.
The first step is cultivating that abundance mindset, that abundance consciousness. And nature gives us a hand.
Thank you. My God, you speak my language. So like, am I watching myself? But like when you talk about, like, it's limiting beliefs, because,
Yeah.
so many, and I remember taking, because I've worked on my limiting beliefs around money for years. Money is energy, just like everything else. And it's like, so when you see an infinite supply of abundance in every way, shape, or form, then that includes that. So oftentimes, so you and I'm sure we have the same, or have learned the same tools, like, um, people are like, oh, I wish I had more money. I wish I made more money. I want to take my family on a vacation. Oh, but then they have a resentment, or they're negative about, oh, people who are millionaires or billionaires, they're greedy, they're selfish. So then what you do is you put out what you want, and then you stop it, you halt it by having that negative thought or that negative feeling, all people who are rich are assholes. Or when you say, or like my daddy, when I was a little kid, girl, when I was a little kid, I had this intuitive way of speaking. When my daddy would say, I'd want something or whatever. Stephanie, money don't grow on trees. I'm like, money grows on trees in my backyard, Daddy. Seriously, I'd say that. And I was being funny, but still, in essence, like, think about this. It actually does. Technically, money is made of paper. Paper is made of trees. Trees are trees, and they're in your backyard. Money grows on trees. So.
Well, I never thought of it like that, but actually that is so true. And that was, I love the way that even as a child, you were standing up to that and like, you're not, and like counteracting that belief with something else. And that's powerful in itself. I mean, I used to get told the same thing. Money doesn't go on. I think every kid from our generation.
I know. Yes.
And you can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. What do you think? I'm made of money? Like,
right.
Yeah. So it's rewriting the program. You got to rewire the subconscious mind after all the brainwashing from our parents.
And society in general.
Society in general, absolutely.
Tracy, have you ever thought about this? Have you ever noticed that when you're watching TV or listening to the radio or whatever, that every commercial, unless it's about a pharmaceutical drug or something like that, it's all about something being on sale? What is that teaching our subconscious mind around money? That you can't afford or have unless it's at a discount, unless it's on sale. This weekend only, 20% off.
That is so true. Actually, I'd never thought about that. How much society has taught us to always focus on, taking advantage of the bargain. Yes, lack. Because the need to always look for the bargain, only buy during sales, all comes from lack, right? It all comes down to scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And, it's very true. There isn't, I mean, at the end of the day, maybe you're saving 10, 20% sometimes, at least in Italy, they don't do crazy sales. And really, I mean, why would I wait to save 10% unless I had that scarcity mindset, right?
Right.
They're doing the abundance meditations. I actually created a guided meditation to develop abundance. And I've also got one on how to develop self-love. If anyone wants it, just like comment below and I'll happily send it to them.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a link to your website in some of the shares, but when we are done, so what I'm going to have to do, because we're not live on Facebook, is I'm going to have to share this YouTube, and then under that I will copy the link to your website where they have access to all this. And if there's anything else that you want to add, like a download or anything, then just put it in those comments and I'll tag you so you'll know where to comment.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I've also happily give them my guide that I created, 27 ways to raise your vibration. So happily
love
give them that as well. So yeah, going back to what we were saying, that mindset of only buying during the sales, let's save money. We've got to focus on saving. It totally goes against the grain of the abundance mindset and the belief that we're creating our abundance from an unlimited potential, right? The field of potential.
Infinite. Yeah.
And it's because it's so tricky for us poor little mortal human beings to get our head around it, right? It's not easy. Let's be honest about this.
Yeah.
it takes a while to get your head around this idea, right? Because it's so diametrically opposed to the beliefs that we were given as children and
Mhm,
downloaded
mhm,
from our parents, right?
mhm.
About money being limited, and to could suddenly like then take on board and really embrace the belief that you're creating your abundance from an unlimited source, an unlimited field. Yeah,
Hey, and
right.
you know what? Okay,
Resistance at
so
the beginning.
we were literally just talking about this very concept on a Clubhouse. You know what Clubhouse is?
Yeah, I've
A
got it.
Clubhouse yesterday with a few of my girlfriends, and the power of language, and it does take a concerted effort, and it takes someone working on their subconscious limiting beliefs to dismantle the beliefs. So instead of saying unlimited, because limited is still in there, is that word limit.
Yeah.
Infinite. I always say I have more. I don't say enough, because enough is still like almost a scarcity word,
Yeah.
versus I have more than plenty for what I
More than
want and
plenty.
need. And when I say want, because needs obviously come, if you have enough for what you want, then you certainly have enough.
For
Excuse me.
what you
Oh my
need.
God, here I am saying enough. If you have more than plenty for what you want, then you have more than plenty definitely for what you need. And
Yeah.
I'm sure, have you ever read the book, The Trance of Scarcity?
I actually haven't. No?
Oh, girl. Oh, girl. This is one of the best books, and it literally, and an instructive, encouraging, and delightful book that I believe can wake us out of our numbed state where we've forgotten our true nature and our fundamental human goodness,
I
and that there is infinite abundance in all ways. Have you ever heard of Tasha Silver? It's Not Your Money is the name of her book.
no, no, no.
I'm going to share with you the
No, I
abundance.
obviously we arrived at a different path to the same conclusion.
Yes, yes. There's an
You're right about the
abundance.
limited, unlimited. I love the infinite potential is so,
Yes.
so, so, so much more powerful. Um, and it really is infinite. The universe expands to meet your desires. So it's constantly expanding. So it's
Yeah.
expanding to meet your every desire and wash and want and wish and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. It's
And you're why.
powerful. It's powerful, all of this. It really is. And it opens your mind, right? And
Mm,
it all feeds into each other, right? It's a lovely, beautiful co-creation because developing that sense of awe and bewilderment leads you into that abundance mindset. But then having that abundance mindset and seeing that you're creating what your reality from the field of potential, right? That gives you a sense of bewilderment and awe in itself, right? It was like, really? Wow.
and
Let's have
it's
some
just
fun with this then.
or it's like this. It's just like an infinite.
Yeah, it's
I don't know if you
infinite.
can
The one feeds into
have a
each
different.
other. And then you're like, whoa, let's have some fun here, right?
Yeah.
Let's I mean, if you truly believed and you truly, truly
Mhm.
believed in your heart that you are the creator of your reality and
Mm,
your thoughts and feelings are what are creating your reality and your
mhm,
intentions,
mhm.
right? What would you do for differently? That was the title of my grounded living vibe of the day email today. It was talking about that. Would you wake up in the morning and actually really want to start your day by thinking about the problem you had yesterday or the argument you had with your boss yesterday or your girlfriend or your boyfriend? Or would you like take total responsibility for your thoughts and your vibe right from the word go when you open your eyes, right? What would you do differently?
Mhm.
So really that's when you got like take on board that 100% responsibility for your life and for you.
Yes.
You can't have your power and get back in the driving seat of your life and be empowered, and then have cultivate, being victim mentality and
Right.
blaming people and playing the victim. And I did a challenge in my group a few months ago, 7-day no complaining challenge. And everyone was like, yeah, I'm up for it. I'm up for it. It was not easy for all of us, right? Whole 7 days, zero complaints, because we don't even realize it. But I tell you what it did. It took us to a whole new level of awareness about all those little complaints, the little things that you complain about on the day. Stop doing it. Stop doing it, because you can't say, oh, I don't have a victim mentality. I don't play the victim. No, I'm a deliberate creator of my reality. But then you complain like
Right.
mad about things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that about?
I have a question. With your challenge, was it just about not complaining? Because I did a similar challenge. We did this on food therapy a few months ago, where we had a gratitude jar and a complaint jar, and it was for 7 days. It's like, and this is to bring awareness to how much and even people like me and you, we ain't perfect. We complain, we can lose our shit, we can, and
We're
but it was,
human.
huh?
We're human.
Yeah, exactly. But it's about bringing that awareness, especially to those who have like, oh my God, I can't believe I really complained this much. But for every time that you complained, you had to write it down, put it in the jar, and then you had to write, equally say, okay, I'm grateful for, even if you were grateful for the same damn thing over and over and over. But at the end of the week, it's like, okay, it's like, but it was also like how we
What
did it,
energy have you
which
fed the
jar,
world?
yeah,
Yeah,
which jar filled up, had more, to it. So I love
exactly.
that. I love your challenge. I love
But I
that.
like that twist on it of like, swinging to the opposite, flipping it and flipping to gratitude instead. That is a great way of doing it. Yeah, love
Yeah.
it. I've got my gratitude jar, which is nearly full, but I started it in January. I mean, it's a big jar, but the most beautiful thing that's come of that is seeing my kids come downstairs for their dinner and automatically, without even like being prompted, sit down and fill out their little slip of then put it in the gratitude jar. And like, I'm thinking, man, what would have been different in my life if I'd like grown up with a gratitude habit? you know?
Tracy, that's powerful. That's so powerful that, that's subconsciously imprinting upon them,
Yeah,
that, hopefully that they'll carry that out and, throughout their entire life.
I
That's
know.
wonder. Yeah.
We have a tremendous sense of responsibility as parents, right? And
I
I'm
don't
thinking,
have kids, but I still feel that tremendous responsibility just to be out, doing that in the freaking world.
exactly, you have a tremendous responsibility to the people that are following your podcast. Exactly, they're your family.
That's my children's.
Yeah, your children. So, but it's like I'm thinking, man, all this stuff that I help my clients with that I know. I first and foremost, I want to like give some of it to my kids as much as they're willing to take and ready to take on board, age related, but it's amazing how much they learn from us. It
Mm.
even happened one day that I got in the car. Talking of being human, I got in the car and something had happened. I don't even remember what the hell had happened, but something had gone wrong, and I'm ranting and raving and like, yeah, like this, like you do. And then I'm going to be late and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And my eldest daughter stopped me in my tracks and she's like, Mummy, breathe. Are you or are you not a mindfulness teacher? And she totally called me out.
Oh, yes.
My God, I've been called out by my 12-year-old daughter.
How old are your daughters? So 12 and
10 and 12.
oh,
But yeah, especially my eldest, she's great at calling me out. Like, but
yeah.
isn't that wonderful that she's like, just breathe, Mummy, it's okay, just breathe. Right? If we all just remember to do that.
Yeah. Oh, I
Just
forget too. I mean,
breathe.
I was having an argument with somebody yesterday, and I'm just losing my shit. And I'm just like, but then again, you know, mindfulness, and I reflect back, and and here's another one. So I'd like to share, and I learned this from another coach who's also, her name is Edna Valentino. She was on my podcast months ago. But about opening your hands, like, let's see, can you
Mm.
see me? Opening,
Yeah.
okay, so opening your hands and being like, I'm ready to receive, like, whatever, if it's a good thing or a bad thing, especially when you're going through shit, being like,
Yeah.
what else is, here's another one. Have you ever heard of accessconsciousness.com?
Nope.
But here's a tool. What else is possible? What
Mm.
else is possible? The story is, a girl is, about to check in for her flight, and they say that something has been canceled, or the flight's not possible, or something like that. And she's like, what else is possible? Instead of getting mad and losing her shit and like, what? Ah, yeah! I mean, I'm not saying that I would be perfect at that either. I'd be like, what else is possible?
I
What
like
else is
that.
possible? Yeah.
That's one to hardwire for sure. That it's
Yeah.
all about with these lovely little things, right? When something goes wrong, doesn't go my way, I always come back to the everything is always working out for me. That's my belief,
Yes.
right? Everything is always working out for it, even when it doesn't seem like it in the
Mm.
moment,
Hmm.
because you can't, as Steve Jobs said, you can only join the dots looking backwards. In this moment, I don't have the full picture. I don't know
Hmm.
why that was not
Hmm.
meant to work out for me, why I
Hmm.
was supposed to come up against this setback, this problem. But maybe like in a day, a week, a month, 2 years, 10 years time, I'll know why that was meant to go that way, right?
Exactly.
So
I've
why can't
been,
we just like look at it
yes.
from that wider perspective in the moment and choose to look for the seed of opportunity for us, or even just ask ourselves. I did live in my group last week, the 3 questions to ask yourself, like when shit happens, shit hits the fan, and you come up against that problem, that setback, then it's like asking yourself, first of all, because we jump to conclusions. Oh no, this means that. Oh my God, it's an absolute disaster, right? Italians love the word disaster. Everything is
Disaster.
disaster, right?
Yes.
Disastro, un disastro. È un totale disastro. It's a total disaster, right? They're very sort of, they love their exaggeration. So just asking yourself, what else could this mean? What else could this mean?
Yeah.
First question. Second question, what is the opportunity for me here? What is the seed of opportunity? And the third question, when there's still resistance and you're still ranting and raving, is
Yes.
what might be good about this in the future? What might be good about
Right.
this in the future? And like just hardwiring those questions as a mental habit that you go to when things go wrong.
Hmm.
It's these are like serious buffers to stress, and serious like ways
Hmm.
to increase your level of resilience
Hmm.
and to stress, and actually make you better cope with emergencies, because we come up against problems all day long, right? I mean,
Hmm.
the only people that don't have problems, well, they live in the cemetery.
Yeah, they're dead, or or in an urn, or maybe
Yeah,
out in the
it's
ocean. Their
part
ashes
of
were spread in
it's
the ocean.
exactly, it's part of life. So trying to looking for that empowering meaning in what happens to you, reframing it as a habit.
Yes.
There's a great TED talk, and I love TED talks.
I
Actually,
do too, girl.
yeah, it's this one's called The Hindsight Window,
The
by Eric.
hindsight.
I can't remember his surname. He's very famous. I should remember his surname. Following one of his courses on Mind Valley, I should remember
I
his
love
surname.
Mind Valley, girl. We're yeah. Love
Yeah,
Vishnunakayani.
so do I.
Yeah,
um,
he's fabulous.
so the hindsight window is like you can have a short hindsight window, and that
Hmm.
is going to save your mental health. having a short hindsight window and finding that empowering meaning quite quickly when something happens. Or you can have a long hindsight window. Some people don't find an empowering meaning till like 10, 20 years later. And
Right.
the longer your hindsight window, the longer time it takes you to reframe it and find an empowering meaning, the more you're going to be suffering and prone to depression and anxiety
Right.
in the
Right.
intervening period, right?
Yeah, I've often been one of those who did ask, like when I've gone through something heart-wrenching, heartbreaking, or just something negative or whatever. It's like, okay, so, so what was the lesson in that, or what was for me in that? And it's amazing, the revelation and epiphany. And it's happened suddenly at times, and then other times I just kept asking. And most recently I went through something, and it's like, what the hell? Like, what and after processing through the feelings of anger, it's like, okay, what was the beauty? What was the seed? Like you said, the seed. I didn't say seed, but it's like, what was that for? I know that that's for me in some way, shape, or form. Um, why did that happen? So I want to know, because I don't think that, anything, good or bad just happens. I feel, I mean, it
Mm.
can. And if you, again, like you just said, if you're blind to it and you just say, fuck it, or, and that you're never going to have that revelation or the epiphany or the why or the beauty or the silver lining, whatever you want to call it, in why said situation. And I mean, you most certainly must ask that, when something hurtful or bad or negative or heartbreaking happens, because we
Yeah,
all we all experience it. That's a human
really.
experience.
It is very much a part of human experience. There's again that the more we can come back to that common humanity
Yeah.
and that we're all in this together and our experiences are so shared and common, right? And what I've go through is not unique, right? You very
Hmm.
rarely find somebody who goes through something and they're the only person on the planet that has gone through that, right?
Exactly.
You know, we're more similar than we realize.
Very
And if
much.
we can see that similarity more and focus more on our similarities and our common humanity and less on our differences, oh my God, what a different world we'd be living in, and what a more peaceful world, right? I mean, I'm a bit of an idealist and a dreamer. I probably always have been, but
Girl, my hand is raised high because I am too.
yeah, right. Um, it is important. So sometimes coming back, that's why I started with the mindfulness. I became a mindfulness teacher, certified mindfulness teacher 4 years ago, because I just loved so much of what mindfulness encompasses, both about being more in the present moment, being more present, having that awareness, that quality of attention, awareness of the present moment, but also the self-compassion, the self-kindness, that sense of common humanity. And sometimes when you're going through hard times, or when I've gone through hard times, it's the mindfulness that has saved me more than anything.
Mhm,
Those
mhm,
practices, and
100%.
yeah, and I am a firm believer in that.
I love that. So
It's
tell us, do you,
I
like, so
yeah, go on.
I love it, because I love how you put together neuro, meaning brain, mindfulness, and your grounded living. So your grounded living is like your platform.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's my business, it's my company, and it's also the name of my Facebook group,
Hmm.
my online community, and Grounded Living Academy is my group program. And so the grounded part of it, the grounded living is very much that is very grounded in mindfulness. The neuroscience part of it is I am a big neuroscience nerd, and I've after years of wanting to feeling that I needed to choose between those two sides of me, the more left brain, neuroscience nerd, scientific focus, and the more right brain, energy, vibration, universe, mindfulness focus.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, actually, no, they're just two sides of me. I can't just like detach one of them. And because if I go down too much focusing in the neuroscience, I need to balance that. I'm like, oh, I need to go and listen to some Abraham videos, or
Abraham Hicks. Oh my God. Yeah.
and I need to do some mindfulness practice. I need to balance that. But then I do too much of that. And I'm like, oh, let me just go and geek out on some neuroscience podcast, you know? And so
Yeah.
it's two sides of me. That's who I am. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy with that dichotomy, that balance. And so I was like, well, let's just blend that into my work, because they have more in common than would at first seem apparent, right?
Mm-hmm.
The brain basically holds all of its neural circuit
You froze.
effect. And and attention, mindfulness is all about where you place your attention, and where you place your
Yes.
attention is where you place your energy, and it's
Mm-hmm.
your energy that's creating your reality. And it's like, and but yes, you're when you're placing your attention on something, that's what's reinforcing the neural circuit and changing even the structure of your brain. So they're all very, very connected. And I see many ways of blending them all together in my
Mm-hmm.
work quite seamlessly. So I was like, let's just call myself a neuromindfulness coach,
I
because
love that.
you know
Have you seen the movie movie documentary What the Bleep Do We Know?
oh, I love it. I love it. I'm a huge fan of Joe Dispenza's work, and I love that movie. Right, is it? That is it. Right, once you go down the rabbit hole, and you enter Alice in Wonderland like world, there's no going back. The mind
No.
expanded doesn't return to its normal proportions. Yeah, like it
Mm-hmm.
blows your mind, but it's wonderful when you do have that other perspective, because I think it's enriching your life. It
Mm-hmm.
enriches your life, and that's why I love my work so much, because it's all of these things, all of these tools, these techniques, these beliefs, these ways of living with mind more mindfully, with being more aware of your vibration and your
Mm-hmm.
energy. At the end of the day, you're enriching your life. You're putting yourself back in the driving seat,
Yes.
and and being more self reliant in a way. You're
Mm-hmm.
able to, self-compassion, mindfulness, like ask when you're having a bad day, instead of making it even harder by beating yourself up
Right.
or getting annoyed with yourself and frustrated and feeling there's something wrong with you. How about asking yourself, what do I need right now? What do I need right now? Am I hungry? Am I tired? Do I need to take a break and have a nap? Do I need a hug right now? Do I just need to ring a friend and have a chat and hear a friendly voice? Like, do I
Mm-hmm.
need to eat some goddamn chocolate? Right? I have a glass of wine. What do I need
Yeah.
right now to feel better? That
Right.
is self-compassion, you know? And
Absolutely.
remembering to do that more, and instead of switching to oh, I'm such a goddamn idiot. Why did I do that again? That was
Right.
all my fault. Why did the bloody hell did I say that? Right? And beating yourself up, making it even harder, right? You know,
Exactly.
it's something that
And then
I,
you're going down that rabbit hole of
you're going
negativity
down
and
that rabbit
dwelling
hole.
and self-loathing, and you're just going to create more and more and more to keep going down, to going down the rabbit hole. It's like you said, when you're being mindful, you realize that where your attention goes, that is what grows, and what you get, what you focus on, and it's being mindful. And I like to say mind, Full, mindful, you
Yeah.
know, grateful. Um, that you start going, okay, wait a minute. Now I can, okay, let me process this. Let me get all this out, whatever it needs to, whatever I need to feel. Cause you don't want to, say, oh, I can never have, it's not about never having a negative feeling or never being sad or
No.
never being angry, but it's about being self-aware and
Yeah.
mindful enough to go, okay, now now that I've been through that, what's for me through that? What's for me through the anger? What's for me through the sadness? What's for me
Yeah.
through the situation?
Not blocking your feelings or not feeling bad about having feelings or having a bad day
Right,
or having negative emotions. They're
right.
just yeah. Like mindfulness was just allows you to bring it awareness to it and compassion to it without the judgment, letting go of the
Exactly.
judgment. Unfortunately, I've got to
Oh, I
go.
know you got to go pick up your daughters. Tracy, it has been such an honor and a pleasure to have you here today. Again, like I said, I apologize that we weren't able to go live on the Facebook, but it's all going to get shared there. And I will tag you where you can share certain things. Like if you have a
Okay.
downloadable PDF or if you have something specific that you'd like to share along with your website.
I'll drop the link.
Yes. And
Okay,
thank you
will do.
guys. I know that there were some people popping on live and YouTube, but thank you for joining Empowered Conversations. Whoop, whoop. Till next Wednesday. Bye, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Tracy. Have a great day.